Good morning, Jerusalem. Or should I say, good morning to whoever's still loyal to the king. Because the Upper Kingdom is about to split faster than a ripe fig in summer. And the name on every trembling lip? Absalom. You know you love me. XOXO, Gossip Girl. So here's where we left off. Absalom fled to Geshur after killing Amnon. 3 whole years in exile, plotting in silence. Word from my spies in Geshur said Absalom spent those years riding magnificent horses, oiling his famous hair, and sharpening plans sharper than his dagger. Meanwhile, David was in absolute turmoil. He missed Absalom every single day, but couldn't forgive him for killing Amnon. My brother said David would wander the palace halls at night, whispering Absalom's name like a man haunted. Enter Joab, David's commander. Always 2 steps ahead, loyal but ruthless. Joab saw the king was miserable and decided to play palace matchmaker, father and son edition. Joab hired a wise woman from Tekoa to play act before David. She told the king a fake sob story about her 2 sons, one killing the other, and pleaded for mercy. David ruled in her favor. And then she dropped the real truth. "Why won't you bring back your own son?" David nearly fell off his throne. So finally, David let Absalom come home. But here's the catch. Absalom wasn't allowed to see the king's face for 2 whole years. Can you imagine? Living in Jerusalem, knowing your father is blocks away, but you're banned from seeing him? But girls, let's be real. Absalom wasn't the kind of man to fade into the background. My palace spies said he stepped out into Jerusalem looking like an absolute rock star. Long golden hair flowing to his shoulders, a chariot with 50 men running ahead, people swooning in the streets. He was the original influencer. And the hair. Let's talk about the hair. Absalom only cut it once a year because it got so heavy. And when he did, they'd weigh it, and it came out to 200 shekels. I don't even know how many hairpins that is, girls, but trust me, it's a lot. Meanwhile, Absalom's getting angsty because David still won't see him. He tries to summon Joab. Joab ignores him. So Absalom does the obvious thing. Sets Joab's barley field on fire because apparently nothing says, "Please respond to my text," like arson. Joab finally caves and arranges a meeting. Absalom comes before David. They weep. They embrace. Palace watchers say it was like a scene from a psalm. But little did David know, Absalom had a whole revolution brewing behind that tearful smile. Because next thing you know, Absalom starts showing up at the city gate every morning, greeting people, listening to their complaints, hugging them, kissing their cheeks, whispering, "If only I were judge in the land, everyone would get justice." Slowly, hearts started drifting away from David to Absalom. My brother said even soldiers were talking in low voices about how Absalom understands the people. The city was humming with his name. Then, boom, Absalom asked David for permission to go worship in Hebron. David, still naive, says yes. Meanwhile, Absalom sends secret messengers through all Israel telling them, "When you hear the trumpet, shout, 'Absalom is king.'" So, Absalom leaves for Hebron, takes 200 unsuspecting men with him as guests. They think they're going to a worship party. Instead, they're pawns in a coup. Trumpets blast, people start shouting, and suddenly, Jerusalem realizes the prince has declared himself king. David's own advisors defect. Panic sweeps the palace. Word reaches David. My brother said the king went pale as linen. David realized staying meant blood in the streets, so he made the hardest decision of his life. He fled his own palace, barefoot, weeping, crossing the Kidron Valley, loyal men around him, women crying in doorways. And me? I watched from the city walls, veil pressed to my mouth so no one would hear me sobbing. And Absalom? He swept into Jerusalem like a conquering hero, took over the palace, sat on David's throne, and did other things I can't even write about without blushing, Let's just say he wanted the entire kingdom to know he'd replaced his father in every possible way. So that's the tea, Upper Kingdom. David's wandering the wilderness, heartbroken and barefoot. Absalom's strutting through Jerusalem like he owns it. And the city, holding its breath, waiting to see whose crown will shine in the end. And don't worry, because next time, I'll spill every detail of how David fought to win back his throne, and the tragic fate waiting for his beautiful, rebellious son. Because in Jerusalem, no secret stays hidden forever. XOXO, Gossip Girl.